Zelda 40th anniversary is gonna be on February 21st, Saturday. And with the February Direct in 2021, before the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda, we had the presentation on February 17th. So if this presentation is in the same time frame, which The Legend of Zelda project do you think is getting revealed this year, Roger?
At the maximum, I think maybe we get like a brief teaser for the next mainline Zelda, but I don't think it's even remotely close to coming out. I think like earliest is late 2027. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? We've talked about the Ocarina of Time thing before, and I think all of us want that. And we think it would make sense.
I think it will come down to a remaster, and this could just be my copium of wanting, Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on Switch and Switch 2. That's like my go-to Zelda 40th prediction. It wouldn't be like a huge thing. It would be for Zelda fans, because these games were stuck on Wii U. Like, I know Wind Waker is already on GameCube NSO, but it's just not the same. Wind Waker HD is just vastly superior.
They need to do something that is a little bit more momentous, though. We have to remember this is the 40th anniversary, and every Zelda anniversary has had something major 3D Zelda. The possibilities of Ocarina of Time remake are definitely there. It's like a little bit of a 50-50 thing, I would say, between that and the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. And if it's gonna show up, it has to be in this first Direct, because these kind of projects usually get announced in the first Nintendo Direct of the anniversary years, because they're not coming out too late. They're coming out summer or late summer, as we saw in the case of Link's Awakening in 2019. So that was September. In the case of Skyward Sword, it was July.
Ocarina of Time remake, I believe it is real, but we're not going to see it until closer or like on the 30th anniversary of that game. I think that game is a ways off.
I completely agree with that. I think we've even brought that up on previous discussions before, that they would tie that in kind of in the same way like a lot of us are expecting for the 30th for Final Fantasy VII, that like on 7/7/2027 we're going to get part 3. I kind of feel the same thing, that like in 2028 we're probably going to get for the 30th like the big Ocarina of Time remake, which is why again I think it's a ways off. I honestly think we could maybe even see like the next mainline Zelda before we see the remake of Ocarina. No, what I was going to ask you guys is, do you think there's potential, if there isn't like a huge Zelda release this year that's from Nintendo directly, that maybe we get something else along the lines of like a Cadence of Hyrule, where they've reached out to another developer to do like a Zelda project for the year? And I feel like it was successful enough to warrant, reaching out to another developer to make some type of Zelda project. We just got Hyrule Warriors, so I don't think we would get like another Warriors game. But something along those lines maybe, where like they have another third party take a swing at Zelda.
You need something first party mainline Zelda to accompany it. Like we saw in 2019, yes, you had Cadence of Hyrule, but you also had Link's Awakening remake. You need both in that scenario, because otherwise you don't have the seller. And we have to remember the Zelda fanbase right now is in a state of fatigue after all of those releases and re-releases of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Age of Imprisonment. They want something else to play. And I have a feeling that in order to keep people on board with the franchise until you get to the release timing of the next open-air Zelda game, you need to provide something for the 40th anniversary in 2026.
It's the 40th anniversary, right? It's the original NES Zelda's 40th anniversary. We've already gotten this with Mario. We've already had Mario Maker. Do Zelda Maker. Legit, like a top-down Dungeon Maker, Zelda Maker game to celebrate the anniversary. Same exact thing. You get skins for like Link to the Past design, or like the Link's Awakening remake look, or the original NES look, and you make it a Zelda Maker, Dungeon Maker type thing, because that's something that I think could take advantage of the Switch 2 hardware. You could take advantage of mouse mode. You would have the grid. That would obviously keep people busy. If you're able to make your own Zelda games, maybe I could buy them doing that over like the next mainline game this year, or like Joey brought up earlier, right? Like both of you did, to be fair. The it happens now or it's never going to happen, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess thing.
Problem with exactly what you're bringing up here is Nintendo Switch Online GameCube. And we all know that Twilight Princess was also on that system. Yeah, they marketed it mostly for the Wii, but with Twilight Princess HD, it became clear that the main version, original version, is the GameCube version, where Link is left-handed and there is no mirroring of the world of Hyrule. So I have a fear that Twilight Princess, unfortunately for its 20th anniversary, is not going to get a physical re-release. It's just going to be on GameCube NSO. But there's one possibility that we don't know how long Grezzo had Echoes of Wisdom ready in 2024. We know that Tears of the Kingdom was delayed originally from 2022 to 2023. And we don't know, maybe Echoes of Wisdom was planned then in 2023. And as a result, Grezzo is already way deeper into development of the next top-down Zelda game than we would believe. And what better way to celebrate really the anniversary of the top-down legacy of Zelda than with a brand new top-down Zelda where you once again play fully as the hero in green, Link.
Brand new, you're saying, not a remake.
Top-down remake of the original Legend of Zelda in the Link's Awakening Echoes of Wisdom style, I think would be awesome. Part of me also just feels like if they're gonna remake ever the original Legend of Zelda, they would do that in the Breath of the Wild engine. I mean, like, we've all seen that GDC thing where they tested out the physics on, like, the little pixelated version of Zelda 1. I almost feel like if they were gonna do Zelda 1, that would be reserved for like a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom type thing, which, I mean, legit, that could be really cool. I think if a lot of us are kind of like thinking about an Ocarina remake, but actually they zag and the 40th is to remake the original title, that would be neat. I agree, though, that like Grezzo is kind of this weird wild card. But again, to me, I don't know. That also seems like a studio that's in a weird position because they just made an original game with Zelda, you know, as the lead. And you're totally right. Like, I think it'd be cool to have them do a new one with Link as the lead. But I almost feel like before they do a new one, they will be tasked with something of like Oracle remakes or something along those lines.
A lot of people are bringing up the Oracle games as the next big remake project for top-down Zelda. I disagree, because I think the scale of those two are just too big. It's going to bound up too many resources. But there's another Capcom game that is a much better fit for proper remake treatment, and that is the Minish Cap.
I would love that. Wow, I didn't even consider that. That would be awesome.
It might be the best top-down, at least when it comes to handhelds, Zelda game. It has the whole origin story of the hat, of much of the early days of the Kingdom of Hyrule, and not of the era of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but actually leading up to Ocarina of Time.
Man, a Minish Cap, I really never even considered that. I would love that too. I could see that being a Grezzo project for sure. Well done. I didn't even consider that. I love that. I want this to happen now.
The way I think an Ocarina of Time remake could work is that it is the start of a new cycle of 3D remakes. But this time, instead of jumping from Ocarina of Time to the Wind Waker, you do it in the chronological release order. So first do the Hero of Time with Ocarina of Time, then Majora's Mask, and then on the next system get back to the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. And that's why I think that they want to save those two games, so Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, for exactly that purpose.
10 years from now or whatever, doing like a full-on remake of Twilight Princess, you know? Like, that definitely seems like a game where wasn't it before Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? Twilight Princess was the second most successful 3D Zelda, right? It was right after Ocarina. It was like, I agree with you that I feel like maybe they hold off for like a full remake project, you know, a decade from now.
Trademark for Triforce Heroes. It's just getting renewed because it was the 10th anniversary, right? Last year in 2025.
That's not a game they're going back to this year. Unless there was going to be like a 3DS NSO app or something and they just like throw it on there.
The same goes with a link Between Worlds, because the Link Between Worlds is the game that makes far more sense to give a physical re-release, especially since it's not playable on the Switch and on the Switch too.
Yeah, don't ever put any stock into trademark renewals. Like, they mean nothing. I mean, I remember hearing Eternal Darkness got renewed like 10 years ago and nothing's happened since.
No.
I think that summarizes pretty much all of the possibilities. 40th anniversary probably is just going to be 1 or 2 in total. Could be 3 as well. We saw there was a little bit of extras here and there. We saw the Game & Watch with the 35th anniversary. I don't think they're going to repeat that again, though. Yeah, I think we've gone through all the baskets and plundered what could be of Zelda projects for the foreseeable future. Big thanks, as always, goes to Joey and, of course, our special guest this time, Rogersbase, for joining. Where can we find you?
Thank you very much for having me, as always. You could find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Rogersbase, Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky as well, Rogersbase. And yeah, thanks as always for having me.
Big thanks as always goes to all patreon.com/CommonRob patrons, and in particular Raw producer Jonathan and heroes Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You all rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.